I already clicked the button. Let's ride. Welcome to Couch on Fire podcast. I'm Alex, and that's Rob. What's up?
I don't know what the hell just happened, but okay.
I cold opened you and then introed myself in. Thank you.
After a while, I'm pretty sure after every time I talk to you and you eat a lot of food, you just get crazy. Are you like a gremlin?
No.
Like you can't eat after 12, but it's like after like 7.
I've been doing intermittent fasting, so there's an effect on my glycemic cycle.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
all right.
I don't eat until like 1 or 2 in the afternoon.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
fasting's good. I like fasting.
Uh,
It gets your body working faster.
I've had
You
good
don't
results with the intermittent fasting. It's
Yeah.
doing okay.
So, Alex,
What's up, Rob?
what do you want to talk about?
Didn't you say something about monopolies earlier, and not the pretend money that the Fed issues?
Shot, shot, shot. Um,
Whoops.
Yeah,
Gonna try to not get political again.
well, this whole, I was just, everyone knows what's going on right now. It's 2019. Disney's trying to own pretty much everything, and it's just like, I don't know too much about it, but it's just kind of one of those things where it's like, is it fair for them to buy out Century Fox but own ESPN, own like they ABC, they just own so
Disney
much, and
owns
it's kind of
ESPN.
yeah, and it's just like they've owned so much, so it's kind of like
Did they get
it's just actually
ESPN in that deal? I thought Fox still had it.
no, they've had ESPN for a while. Here, let's look up Disney and see all they own. But it's not just Disney though. I mean, think about like so T-Mobile and Sprint are merging,
Yeah,
and
they
it's
gotta
just kind of,
clear a huge quantity of regulatory hurdles to make that work.
yeah, but they're doing it. I mean, they're doing some stuff. So it's just kind of like
Well, that's the best way for them to actually meaningfully fire shots at what was Bell Atlantic, and got
yeah,
split up, and Verizon is one of the resultant companies from that.
yeah,
That was one of Slick Willie's monopoly busts. Was that was an unconstitutional level monopoly that was
yeah.
posing too much impact on the consumer. So they broke that up, and we need a new Teddy in office, goddammit, to do some more trust busting. Break them down. The corporations are getting too big for the britches. Bring them
Well,
down.
okay, so let's look at the pros and cons. Okay, so obviously, as just a citizen in the world, a viewer, the pros of having, like, okay, so if you're, all right, let's go with the Disney thing. So say like, okay, so Disney wants to have their own streaming service because they want to compete with everything else, or like the
Literally everything else.
yeah, I think the pros are just more of you get everything you want in one sitting. And honestly, I don't really fucking know the pros. I'm trying to battle for them. All right, so they own Pixar, they own Lucasfilms, they own ABC, they own Marvel Studios, they own. See, ABC owns um, ESPN. So since they own ABC, they own ESPN. Therefore, they own ESPN.
Yeah.
They got Adventures by Disney. I mean, they got like tons of stuff, but ESPN Radio, ESPN, the A&E network, they own that. They own Touchstone Pictures.
They own
I mean, these.
Touchstone?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right here. These
That
are
was
so.
Harvey, dog.
Yeah.
Harvey Rapey Weinstein? That was him.
Well, yeah, he lost everything. They just bought it out. They own what was that?
Great
What
time
is
to
that?
buy.
They, what is that? Maker Studio. It was made by YouTubers. They
yeah. It was Polaris, and Disney bought it. There was nothing to it, and it became Maker Studios during the big
yeah,
corporate overhaul of Maker. And
yeah.
I thought they were trying to sell that back off
I don't know. I don't think it
because it
really.
didn't do anything.
No, the people that created. Well, the thing is, there's a huge. I mean, it's still pretty big, but there was a huge push. I mean, there was a time where YouTube just became this, like creators were just everything, and they're still there, but it's not as much because of the whole adpocalypse and things like that. So creators are looking at other outsources and things like that. But in the end, Disney does own them now. Um, for right now.
Owns Maker, yeah.
Mm. So like, I mean, what do you think about all this? Not, I mean, I
Uh,
know I'm kind of singling out Disney, but there's other companies that are doing this. I mean,
well, Disney's pretty on the money for what the negatives are. Like they've lobbied to have copyright law changed multiple times so that they could keep their hands on things like Cinderella without having to release that into the commons, where other people could work with Cinderella. Um, there are a few things that automatically like qualified as in the commons, and Disney can't have like their fingers all the way on it and have total control over it. Things
yeah,
like Robin Hood. Um, you'll see Tarzan, other Tarzans every once in a while. Um, as that's because the source material is so goddamn old that anybody can just reference it at this point.
yeah.
Um,
No, I got you.
so copyright law is fundamentally broken, and the reason it is so fundamentally broken is largely because of Disney specifically, um,
Well,
and
well,
their specific lobbying of Congress and how that worked out as it played through the EU and everything else.
so Disney's taking over mostly entertainment, which is just so much. It's so much. I just while you were saying that, I was just kind of curious, and I wanted to know like food wise, who's really taking over? And McDonald's. Do you know how many? I'm gonna name you some of the other companies that they own, and you're gonna be shocked.
I don't think it will be.
Okay, well, Dairy Queen,
Not surprised.
Bust, Buster's Ice Cream,
Huh.
Boston Market,
That doesn't surprise me in the slightest. They're gross too.
Chipotle, Mexican Grill.
They're also gross. That's why I like Cadova better. It's that right there.
Ready?
I had no
Panera,
idea.
Panera Bread.
Bullshit.
Yeah, since 2010 they've owned it. Some and then a lot of
I haven't
other
eaten there since 2007. Save once.
bakers, another other companies like Millie's Cookies, Baker's Oven. I think these are like little mall stores and things like that. But here's the thing that I'm looking at right now. Now they don't own them anymore, but they did own them, and they owned them during their peak, which is weird to me. So from the beginning to 2000 and it says 14. So from 2009 to 2014, they owned Redbox, and that's why you saw Redboxes mostly at McDonald's because they owned Redbox,
Huh.
and then they sold
No,
it
no,
off.
no. Oh, okay, okay. Hold on. Was that owned majority share? Because I thought they were publicly traded during that period.
Uh, I'm looking right now. It doesn't really say because there's no information about it now on this
Yeah.
website. But I don't know. That's something
Huh.
someone can find out. But that's a little. See, that's just the food wise. Now I know taco. There's another food thing where KFC, Taco Bell, and Pizza Hut are all owned by the same.
Yum Foods. We've
Yum
talked
Food.
about how gross they are in the past.
Yeah, but yeah, Taco Bell's the best. I'm like, I can't.
It's
I can't.
delicious. That doesn't
I
make it
can't.
good.
No, it's not good for you. 100%, not at all. But it's just so you got that with food. So the food, and then grocery stores are kind of the same. There's companies that just own a lot. Like I used to work for Harris Teeter, but Kroger owned them, Ingles, a whole bunch of different.
Oh
You
God,
know,
Engels. I haven't thought about them in a decade.
yeah. And then, but then, and now this whole cell phone thing. So, what it means to me when I
Is that
hear
you
when I
have
hear
less
okay,
choice as a consumer?
yeah. So that means they can charge more because there's no choices. So say you know there's three glasses in front of you of different types of Kool-Aid. Oh man, well I want the
It's
blue
all
one,
Kool-Aid though.
but it's all Kool-Aid. But I want the blue one though because the blue one's the best. But then they start taking away these glasses. And now there's only two types of Kool-Aid.
Oh, it's like the red and the blue mixed together to make purple. And now there's just the purple and the orange.
Yeah.
And it's
And
like
it's just
not the
kinda
good
like,
purple, it's like the red and the blue put together purple, which is not the same.
yeah, I just, it's just crazy. So, I mean, it's so hard, and I understand if you own a business, you're doing okay, but you could be doing better, but you need assistance from somebody else, so that company buys you out because they're bigger. I understand that, but then what point does it become too big? Like, do you like? I mean,
The
half the
point for
TVs.
me where it becomes too big is when you have the ability to lobby Congress and be heard as an independent entity, as separate
Yeah,
from the individual constituents uh, that make up the company. That's the point for me, that it should be broken up and destroyed. Facebook appearing before Congress? No, 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 that's immoral. You can't invite Facebook to a company picnic. You can't invite Facebook to your birthday party. That's not people. Kill it with fire. That, honest to God, that is my genuine position, because it
something with
gives
fire.
everyone that works there, every board member, everybody that works there, a second vote, and that's bullshit. That drives me up the goddamn wall. It's bullshit, and it's that point for me. Is like, okay, cut the cord, break
Yeah,
them up, and install real meaningful competition, so that the prices normalize, so they're not artificially propped up by artificial scarcity. Jesus, scarcity, like the diamond market.
yeah.
The only
Well,
reason diamonds are expensive is because one asshole family owns 100% of them.
see, well, how is that fair to the up and comer though? I mean, seriously, think
Exactly.
about it. Yeah, how is that fair to the up and comer? Like, here, I went down the rabbit hole a little bit more. So, the person that owns HBO, AT&T, AOL, Warner Brothers, Time Warner Cable, Spectrum, all these other,
AOL Time Warner.
yeah, it's literally AOL, Time Warner, Warner
Yeah.
Media owns it all, and it's just like, how am I supposed like if I'm an upcomer? Oh yeah, and then Google owns a whole bunch of shit too. I totally
Yeah.
forgot about Google. I can't even forget. I
Well,
mean,
it's Alphabet owns Google, which has the network.
oh yeah,
Yeah. Um,
but it's just kind of scary. Like, so if I started a business, right, and my business starts growing, but it's the same type of business. Like, say if I started a bit like a theme park, then I decide to make a next Disney World. How am I supposed to compete with them? Since I don't know. It's hard to explain. I know this is
prices. Honest to
prices.
God,
Even
your best point of contention is uh, the hey, we're not Disney, and like trying to leverage that angle,
yeah,
while still offering equivalent or competitive experiences, but really hitting them on the price point. That's why Six Flags exists in the face of Disney, is because they've got a better price structure than spending $400 for 4 days, and that's just the tickets to get in for one person.
yeah.
Like, screw the rest of your family, screw the hotel stay, screw getting down there. What are you gonna eat and all this other shit? Like, it's a multi-$1,000 exchange to get to Disney World. You know how much it is for season passes at Six Flags? Like
Probably one.
$120.
Yeah.
You get
You know,
in, come and go willy nilly.
I looked up. I looked up season passes for Disney World, not including their water parks, which is a big thing. I think if you're a local in Florida, it's around $700-800 for a year, just a year, and that's not including the water parks. I mean, Six
Yeah,
Flags
and the
has
water
water parks.
parks are their own. That's their
Right.
own set of tickets right there. And they're compartmentalized, even though they're part of the Disney park experience. But you can get the premium Disney
Well,
tickets, which
it,
cost double and include the parks, the water parks.
it's the name. I mean, it's not the name.
Yeah,
It's the experience. Well, it's the
it's
memories.
the both.
So it took Disney had to take a while to get their name going. Six Flags is well known everywhere, at least in the United States, because
What do you mean Disney took a while to get his name going? Where are you going with that?
well,
In comparison to Six Flags, where are you going with that, Rob?
well, okay. So where am I going with it is, so some people they'll it's like an Apple product. They know what it is. They've been there.
It's
They
the
know what it's like.
premium.
But you want to go there because you want to say, I went to Disney World, or I have an iPhone, or you want to go there because at one point in time in your life, you just binge watch Disney movies like every other child, and you're just like, I want to go there, and because of that,
There
there's
hasn't
so
been an original idea in 10 years. Let me stuck on this
yes.
nostalgia dong.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. And then when you go to the parks, yes, they're doing new things because they're bought all these other companies. There's a Star Wars land. There's a Lego land. You know, there's a Harry Potter. Well, that's Universal.
They
But there's so
acquired
many.
those companies for the licensing. Jesus goddamn Christ, my work phone won't shut the hell up.
Knows you're talking about, you know, some,
It
different companies and
knows.
stuff. But
Tektronix
getting
doesn't compete with Disney.
I don't know. Who knows? Dude, I'm balding. It's weird. I'm getting old.
Hola.
I
And
don't know
just
what you just did.
monopolies suck. Period.
I know. I know. I know
They're
they
bad
do.
for the consumer.
And
Disney
it's like that with.
sucks. Go
Yeah.
ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was just. Man, I don't know. See, it goes back to I don't know too much about politics. I don't know why. I understand there's hoops that companies have to go through before they do stuff like this. But
The regulations.
why can't there just? I don't. Why do they allow this to happen? Is it one of those things where maybe the company is just not doing well? Like, is Century Fox not doing well? Are they not doing well, and they're just like, you know what? We'll just do what Lucasfilms did. We'll just let Disney buy us, and then we'll just get out of we get out of jail with a free card. Bam, just get out of jail. Were they not doing well, or were they doing well and they just Disney was like, I got a couple billion. You want it? Like, I don't understand.
Yeah.
Are these companies not doing well?
No, but sometimes the offers are super lucrative and it'll inject much needed cash flow into the purchase company.
Yeah.
Other times, the people holding the coffers don't need the money, or they're looking to cash out, or any of 100 different things, or they together are competitors of a much bigger monster. Like in the case of T-Mobile and Sprint, they've got their sights set on Verizon, and they both have for years. But they can't make any real headway, so they're joining forces to go, no, fuck you. Fuck you, Verizon.
It just sounds like like I'm in a game of WoW, like World of Warcraft.
You
right?
you start
I can't
feeling
kill,
these fiefdom actions occurring,
Yeah.
and that's the problem.
I can't kill this boss. So Alex, can you help me on my quest?
Yeah. Yeah, let's get the guild together and do this 40-man raid. We've only got a 20-man guild, bro, so we'll just go with another 20-man guild. It's not a big deal. Relax.
Leroy Jenkins.
Yeah. Marco knows who that is now, and I'm so happy.
Oh my God, his life is complete.
I don't know about all that. Jesus, he's 7. He's barely started. Holy shit! Why is this allowed to happen though? That's a big question, and the answer is the government doesn't actually have any authority to prevent it,
So what are
morally
these
or
regulations?
legally.
Well,
Congress acting
Yeah.
based on what has happened and trying to prevent it for the future will pass laws that establish regulatory bodies that'll do this, and that grants legal authority, but it doesn't necessarily grant moral authority.
Yeah.
So while they gave themselves the power to say, hey, no, you can't do that, this is the land of the free. We can't really say, hey, no, you can't do that in the land of the free, especially when it's a capitalistic move. So we've got to balance this not just like good for the population in that super populous sense, because the population can be fed plain sugar loaded candy coated white bread their entire lives and end up with diabetes. Like we can't do that at the same time as we need to do that. So we've got this balanced position that we've got to try and like tightrope through to make sure that we're maximizing the freedom for everyone, uh, morally speaking, so that consumers have enough choices, have enough meaningful choices to be able to go, no, I don't want to deal with you anymore. You've wronged me. I'm going to your competition. And speak with their money at the same time as we can't necessarily block these people. What is the moral difference between a 5-man venture and a 50-man venture? Now, how about a 500-man venture? How about 5,000 employees on the payroll? Like, what are the real differences? And the answer isn't there aren't a whole lot of differences other than like what taxes you have to pay. You're still managing a company just the same as you would be at the bootstrap phase. It's the same thing. So we can't morally argue that no, you just can't do that, period, because that's unnecessary interference. We've got to walk the tightrope, which fucking sucks because I'm for trust busting.
I just, I hear what you're saying. As the consumer, though, it's just kind of.
It sucks.
It does suck.
Fucking sucks.
They can raise prices because they know that no one else is. It's like, well,
that there is no meaningful competition. Where are you gonna go?
But competition is good. Competition is good.
For the consumer, not for the corporations.
Yeah. They're not, but not necessarily. There's some corporations that,
thrive under that kind of pressure.
You mean to tell me McDonald's loves that Burger King's around? Because Burger King takes shots at McDonald's left and right.
No, I'm specifically saying that McDonald's would buy up Burger King and eat it if it could.
Oh, I know it could.
If it could,
but
and it would.
Here's a wrestling fact. So the WWF at the time had a competition with WCW. It was a big thing. Competition was great. The ratings were great. But then WCW's ratings started going down, and WWF was like, we have the money. So they bought everybody's contract and bought out the company. Then WWE, because they changed their name, their ratings are down because the competition's good. But I understand why they bought it out, because they helped out a fellow wrestling guild.
That's not entirely what. See, there's other meaningful competitors there. You can go to, like, watch UFC. You can watch boxing. You can watch other combat sports as an entertainment venue. Fuck, you can watch soccer, or hockey, or American football. Like, there are other meaningful competitors. If you don't like what the WWE did, you could just go watch Dana White push whoever his love child is that week down on everybody's throats.
I'm going to tell you this right now. This is about the UFC. So they have a contract now with ESPN. So ESPN has the Fight Channel. It's ESPN FC or something like that. No, not this football. ESPN something, but now it's like ESPN Plus. You can watch UFC matches all the time on ESPN. So to me, that means eventually Disney will own the UFC.
Dana White cannot wait.
Well, he wants his money.
That's all Dana White cares about. He doesn't care about the sport or the integrity of it, or we wouldn't be having all these John Jones issues right now.
I know he doesn't. I don't know.
Yeah, we wouldn't have had any of the steroids issues that we had as it was coming up, or the steroids usage that we had coming up that suddenly became a problem when we had to recertify with Nevada. Like, I'm no, fuck you, Dana. You don't have any integrity. You're in it for the money. If you were in it for the integrity, you would have been testing that strenuously from Jump Street. Period. And there's no argument against that. But he's going to buy up every other fucking fight organization there is that isn't boxing.
Yeah. I mean, this monopoly thing is just.
It's bad for consumers. Period. Which sucks.
I know. We will. I understand a little bit better now. So what you've just told me about the whole government thing, they really just don't have any. There's regulations, but they were just there because they have to have something there. But it's more or less, it's kind of like,
we have a moral duty to maximize the liberty of our citizens. Simultaneously, that applies to the citizens who are behind these companies as well. So we've got to let them do what they're going to do. But the second it crosses a threshold, and it's different in every social and economic environment, but once that threshold is crossed, and most people are they're not stupid. Like, we could probably break up Facebook and be okay. Yeah. Like, Instagram too. You own Instagram, WhatsApp, and like 18 other communication services? It's time to snippy. It's time to break y'all up. But that threshold, everybody's kind of aware of, and at that point, like, it is incumbent on our government to go in with a hatchet and start breaking shit up.
Yeah.
Period. Like, you'll never hear left or right complain about Teddy Roosevelt and what he did to break up Standard Oil. Everybody hates Standard Oil that is familiar with Standard Oil and the whole company store phenomena, and every other pie that they had their fingers in. It was a monopoly. It was grotesque in what it did to its employees, and it was god-awful to what it did to the consumers. So Teddy broke it up. And nobody complained. Well, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. There were a lot of laissez-faire capitalists that were like, yeah, the government doesn't have the authority to do that. What the fuck are we doing? But getting the anarchists out of the picture, nobody that believes in the solvency of the state argues with the fact that we should monopoly bust every once in a while. Kind of trim the hedges a little bit.
I mean, it's... Yeah. I don't know. I get it. I just don't like it.
No, it sucks, and we should break up more of them, and more frequently.
We should.
This every other decade thing is just bullshit. Break up Alphabet, break up Facebook, break up Disney immediately, kill AOL Time Warner outright because nothing it's produced ever has been good.
Well, you, like...
I just
don't... If they're making money...
competition.
Yeah, I mean... There's gonna be competition, and someone's gonna compete, and they're gonna be like, okay, this is great, but then eventually that person's just gonna hit a wall, and then the other company's gonna buy it, and it's gonna keep happening. It's like, do it at a local state level. It's the same thing. It just keeps happening. Imagine a mom and pop shop. Mom and pop shop's been around 20, 30, 40 years, then Walmart comes in, buys out the property.
Companies will cross that threshold because there is that like termination point for a lot of small businesses. They'll get to that point. It's like an extinction threshold. And 80% of those businesses die. Just dead, gone, or they get bought up, or they're eaten by something else, or whatever. They're not the same thing anymore, and 80% of them just disappear in that way. But the other 20% push on to the next pond, the bigger pond, the national level, or excuse me, regional. So you get like Carl's Jr. / Hardee's, depending on which side of the Mississippi you're on. But you'll start to see them expand and grow out. Like Royal Farms here is a mid-Atlantic phenomenon, and it's growing still. Wawa, same thing, growing still. Sheetz has a huge swath of territory compared to either of them. But they're also just eastern. Sheetz. You can find some kind of west, but not too many. They're few and far between.
I wish it was Sheets here.
Oh, they haven't gone that far south yet?
No. Wawa, well, I wish Wawa was here, but Wawa's mostly in Florida. And then from Virginia and up, so.
Yeah. There's a weird gap right there. Like, Georgia and the Carolinas get skipped over on a lot of shit.
Real quick, before we get off.
Break them up.
Break them up. Hold on. No, I wanted to ask you, so where did the game Monopoly get its name then? The actual game.
The actual game? That was actually built to be a teaching tool by a Yeah, no, seriously. It was created by a socialist to teach the evils of capitalism, and that eventually, given enough time, there will always be a monopoly in a capitalistic system.
Oh my god.
And it's not inaccurate. But that's what the government is for. Like,
bam.
Just chop it off.
The government is Boardwalk and Park Place. Just want to say this.
That's the Fed, man.
As soon as you land on it, it's over.
Yeah.
Anyways, I don't know what time it is, but I do have to get off. I've been at work all day.
Good God.
I gotta spend time with the wife.
Oh God.
I know.
I'm gonna go eat another half pizza and help move some furniture.
It's sad because we start these podcasts so late, which it's no one's fault because, sometimes you have stuff to do, sometimes I have stuff to do.
Yeah.
We never really, it's just, but thank you everyone for listening to the podcast.
Yeah, much appreciated. If you guys swing by B&B's, if you're local to the Maryland area, go pick up some of our swag at B&B's Vape Cafe. They're helping us out with hosting some of our swag, so we're going to send them what customers we can, because they're awesome. Hashtag not spawn, just friendly.
And if you say you know Alex Haskins, they'll say that's awesome. That's all they'll say.
I don't actually know that they know my name like that.
I don't know. But if you say, you go there and you say you heard about this place off the Couch on Fire podcast. That'd be awesome.
They might catch you a discount for that. They'll catch you a discount for
something.
Posting on Facebook. Maybe. I don't know if that's on them. This is not sponsored. There is no official deal. There is no contract. There's no nothing. Hey, could you hand out some of our swag? And I'm there all the time anyway, so they're handing out our swag, which is awesome. And we love them for it. Nice little weird business-to-business promotion.
Local businesses always support each other.
Until they become a monopoly. And then they should get toppled by the government.
Ba-boom. Ching!